empowers we the people as they transform their lives and consciously create through love and healing. It's an opportunity for us to share our experience and wisdom with you so that we may create opportunities for all to heal through love into love, thus creating the peaceful world we desire. I'd like to welcome you, our listening audience here in our studio and on our website at HonoluluChurchOfLight.org. We are now presenting our program every second and fourth Wednesday of each month. I am Susanna Bowman, your new host for the program, The Great Shift, A Shifting Consciousness. And we have a wonderful guest today. We've been planning and talking, and she is KarinnaNielsen, and her topic is celebrating the healing energies of the Great Shift in April 2004. And Karinna is here to share her wisdom about her new journey with us, giving us a sneak preview of Lemurian Shamanic Astrology and Healing. What does Lemurian Shamanic Astrology have to do with signature cell healing? And what are the shifting energies of April 2014? And how can we engage them for our own healing? So Karinna's previous incarnation, in her previous incarnation, she worked as an educator, a publisher, spiritual events coordinator, and now bring all of this wisdom and experience into play for her new business of sharing Lemurian shamanic and goddess wisdom. She shares her experience and wisdom as a Lemurian shamanic healer and astrologer, a certified signature cell healing practitioner trainer, certified healing touch practitioner, and who has also had experience with Reiki levels 1 and 2. She brings it all together, and I have to say, this is helpful because I benefit from all of her experience and wisdom as she facilitates my regular signature cell healing. So I have gained and I have grown from her sharing her wisdom. So if this sparks interest within you, I'd like you to call us. For people in the United States, the number here is 390-1886. And for our international audience, please call us at 1-808-952-0880. I look forward to this hour with Karinna. So without further ado, I present KarinnaNielsen. Aloha and welcome.
Aloha, Susanna. Thank you. And let me say likewise about the healing, because we've been doing the journey together for a number of years, and I'm very grateful to you for your healing wisdom. So
yeah.
Thank you.
We learn together, and that's what this program is all about. We learn together. So, let's begin. You have shared something about your past incarnations, meaning,
well,
previously.
First of all, let me say hi to everyone out there that I know from so many years back, because this program has been around for so many years. And I've worked on this program in different capacities over the years, and it's just really an honor to be back here as a guest. I'm just thrilled. And it's such a dynamic month, and that's why I asked to title this about April 2014 is about the healing energies of the Great Shift, because we really are in a new level of the Great Shift energies. I'm feeling it in my healings, and I'm feeling it in the planetary alignments that we'll talk about today. It's just such an exciting time, and I'm really happy to be here to share it with you. I know your one question was, what does Lemurian Shamanic astrology have to do with signature cell healing? And it's interesting how I came to the Lemurian Shamanic Astrology. Most of you know that I've been a signature cell healing practitioner for about 15 years, and I've been studying with Kahu Fred Sterling, and coordinating his workshops, of course, over the years. And what I discovered during that time, I was also getting astrology readings. I never really mentioned it to anybody, but since I was a child, I've always enjoyed looking through the telescope in my backyard and checking out the planets. And what I started to notice on my astrology charts was a correlation between what I was going through in my healing sessions, my signature cell healing sessions, with what was going on for me in my astrology readings. And I thought, that's really interesting. And so I started to look at it for myself and to learn as much as I could. Instead of letting the astrologer just read me, I went in detail. You can imagine, those of you that know me, I went in detail to understand where was this coming from? What are these planetary cycles, and how can their influence do this to me in my life? How is this happening? And it's coordinating with my healing. And what I found was, and I also started doing it for my healing clients, I would ask for their birth information, and then I'd pull up their birth chart, and then I'd notice the cycles and the things that were happening on the birth chart were correlating with their healing that we were doing in the healing sessions. So what I noticed was, what I was actually looking at on the birth chart was the blueprint of that person's statement of intention for their lifetime. And for those of you that are signature cell healing practitioners, you know that the blueprint is what is in the signature cell in the pineal gland. So, oh my God, I thought that was so incredible. So I started to look and see how could these two modalities, or actually counseling styles, coordinate together. And I started to do the Lemurian shamanic astrology readings, showing the person their blueprint and reminding them of their statement of intention for this lifetime, what their skills are and why they're here and what do they have to work with. And then we go onto the healing table, or they would go onto the healing table, and we would activate the blueprint within the signature cell in the pineal gland, and it made it such a powerful healing that I gradually brought it into creating this business that I have now and the website KarinnaNielsen.com.
Yeah, I know, because I just experienced the signature cell healing from you before, and as you have evolved and you started, I think that for me it was you would learn something about from your astrology, personal astrology reading, and then you would share that with me, like, because you were always ever evolving. We call it lifelong learning, where you were always wanting to know why, and then you would share it with me, and I go, oh, that's why I'm acting this way, or that's why these things are happening to me. And so for me, it helped me to see my healing process, my evolution, from a different perspective. So that's the benefit of what you're doing, and I'm glad that you're doing that, and more people are being able to experience that, because to be honest, I think I felt like, wow, only I'm getting it.
Sneaky, yeah.
But now I know I did tell you, ooh, what if you blend the two? And you have.
Yeah, and I have, yeah. And
so
what's really interesting is, parallel to all of this with signature cell healing and the Lemurian shamanic astrology, is my work in the Goddess Light. And of course, being part of Silver Wings of Light for many years, and doing the hook releases and the goddess work around the earth plane, what was happening was I was becoming more and more in tune with the cycles of the planets and the stars, because the Goddess Light is a lot about cycles and knowing the energy of the weaves. So what I'm finding is there's a lot that I've been sharing. I had had some gatherings of goddesses to learn about the Lemurian goddess energy, to share about it, to discover, what's happening in our lives, and also what about, the cycles, like the cycle of Venus, for example. that's a beautiful cycle that we can use to go through the chakra and release what needs to be released, and then as she goes through her cycle, re-empower ourselves. So there's a little article on that on my website about how can we work with the Venus cycle. So there's a lot of different things that I'm trying to, over the past year, I've been weaving together, and it's starting to get clearer and hopefully beneficial to others in their healing journeys.
I must say, learning about the Venus cycle helped me through some things that were going on with me last year. So it wasn't, something that was kind of haphazardly happening, but there was, I guess for me, my mental side of me wanted to know the rhyme and reason. And so it wasn't just something that just happens, but there's a reason. And I have to say, it was so comforting to have you explain what my experiences were based on the Venus cycle, because, having this discomfort in my brain, and you said, oh yeah, she's at this gate, having to do with the third eye, and then having some throat issues, and you go, oh yeah, the Venus cycle is going through, the throat chakra, and it just went on down each chakra area, and that was the most helpful thing for me last year, is to know that sometimes I think, am I crazy? What's going on?
That is really a good point, because a lot of times we feel these energies and we think, what the heck is going on? And this is a way, like signature cell healing, it's a way of, I call healing is about knowing thyself, know thyself. And the Lemurian Shamanic Astrology really plays in with that, in that we learn about the cycles that are all around us. In the Emerald Tablet of Hermes, the big quotation is, as above, so below, as within, so surrounds, or so within. So the planetary energies that are above us are reflective of what's within us. And when we can start to understand those, or weave with them, do ceremony with them, that's the shamanic part of it. It's the transformational, evolutionary, ceremonial working with these planetary energies that's so much fun.
I like that word, transformational. Just an example is like when I was going through, I was going to call it the throat chakra issues. It's like a lot of anger was coming out, as well as fear, and I wanted to just yell and scream. And lo and behold, some of the people at church at that time were going through so many similar things. Like, I just yelled at somebody, and then I felt bad, and then why do I have all these anger issues, and I want to tell everybody off? And it wasn't just a few people. There was so many, and then when you told me that, I go, oh,
well, look out, because the Venus is in her new cycle now as of January, and she's approaching the third gate, which is the throat chakra, or the fifth chakra, and that'll be April 25th. When you can go outside and see the conjunction with the moon, the Venus and the moon together in the morning sky, and that is about speaking our truth in love. And we're all challenged with speaking our truth now, but how do we do it in love, so that we don't blast anybody with our truth? There's a truth that can be spoken in love. So that's what we're coming up on this month, as well as other really interesting things.
So what was the date on that again?
April 25th.
So Venus, okay. April 25th.
Yeah, so make a note, guys. I'll put it on my website so it doesn't hit you unaware.
Yeah.
But what I want to also talk about, if you don't mind, is what's coming up tomorrow night, which is the monthly earth shielding ceremony that we've been doing, the Lemurian Goddess Weave has been doing for quite a while, and it is guided by Master Guide Kirill from Silver Wings of Light time, when we began to do this earth shielding ceremony, because the energies of the sun reflected off of the moon are becoming more and more intense. And he encouraged us to do a monthly meditation to put a shield around Mother Earth and up to the moon. And so in this year, we have a code and a chant that we're actually working with. And that ceremony is tomorrow night at 9 p.m. your local time. And there's a page on my website, it's right on the home page, and you can click on it, and it has the code there and the chant, and it explains all about how to work with it. The reason I bring it up this time is it's so important to build community on this. We're building a goddess community to do this, because this month is all the more important because there's a total lunar eclipse that takes place on the 14th and the 15th, depending on where you are in the world, which will amplify this energy of the sun and the moon. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to encourage everyone to, go into meditation and into ceremony at 9 o'clock tomorrow night and join us. And you've seen it on the website, but it involves going in meditation and projecting your light to Diamond Head. And we all gathered there at 9 p.m. and send the weave around Mother Earth and to the moon.
I guess for those people who are just hearing this for the first time, is that anytime somebody tells me, oh, let's do this or do that, it's like, how do I benefit from it? What is the benefit personally and globally?
Well, I can speak for myself. Personally, the benefit that I have is I am honored to be in service. Mm-hmm. With Mother Earth and the Goddess Weave, and that's a big part of my life. I do, Lemurian Shamanic Astrology, and I do signature cell healings, but my purpose for being here is to be here in the Goddess Light and to work with other goddesses for the great shift in consciousness. And this is part of my service, and I love the energy of being in that weave every month with the other goddesses and working with them. And that's what I have experienced personally with that energy. Mm-hmm. I think to benefit the earth plane at this time of the great shift, this is a wonderful way to participate in being in service for the great shift. And I just welcome aboard everybody who wants to participate.
Now, you've gotten some updates from Master Guide Kiriel about this, how the Earth, Mother Earth, has benefited from it, and because you like to ask, how are we doing?
How are we doing?
So what is the latest in terms of? Well, because we just had Chile had 2 earthquakes, and the weather patterns. On the East Coast and
and let's look at what's coming up too, because we do have that eclipse, mm-hmm. and that eclipse it's an interesting. And just before I get off the topic, there's a special page on my website with the shares and what Master mm-hmm. Kirill said most recently about it. But for this particular ceremony next week on the 14th, 15th, for us here in Hawaii, we're in the most awesome place to watch it because it'll be a total eclipse at about 9:45 in the evening on the 14th. In other parts of the world, it's on the 15th in the early morning. But what we have is a total lunar eclipse, and it'll be one of those blood red moons. They're so incredible to watch. Okay. And this is the energy of an eclipse. Let's just talk about that, because an eclipse is like accelerated energy, and the moon will go through all of its phases within about 3 hours. So the 28-day cycle of the moon is compacted into 3 hours. And if any of you do a ceremony with the moon, you know that the new moon is the time to basically put your intentions, plant your seeds and put your intentions into the new moon. Here we have a full moon. And it would be the manifestation of your intentions. So there's an acceleration and amplification of the energies of intention around this full moon lunar eclipse. Broadly, as far as the earth plane goes, as well as your own personal intentions.
So for people who are wishing to make changes in their lives, this would be a very, very important time, and take advantage of this time?
I totally, yes. And I would, for me personally, I would go, it's a great opportunity for ceremony, to put on your goddess scarf, light a candle. If you can't see it, go into meditation. If you can see it, go out and feel the energy of this eclipse and this full moon. Be in a very centered space, if at all possible, or recognize what it is that is maybe not centering you, what is happening for you. It's a good opportunity to release what's ready to be released, and put yourself in a healing space in that light.
So all this information that you're sharing I see it now as important because my mom used to tell me that she goes, oh, full moon's coming, there you go again, there she goes, she's having a tantrum again. In my younger days.
Wow.
So not knowing about it, all I could do was feel the energy, and it was amplified, as you said.
Yes.
But then now that I know about it, and I start feeling these amplifications of energy, and then I go, oh, what time of the month is it? Oh, the full moon's coming.
Right.
Okay, so then it's consciously creating the experience and not letting the energy take me this way and that. I used to say, like, I felt like I was like in one of those washing machines, agitated.
Yes.
Things like that. But now I know with what you've shared, I have a tool.
Yeah, and it's about working with the cycles,
right.
because we know that the moon has a 28-day cycle, just like we do, ladies. And so we are very in tune with the moon. And so that's a beautiful way of working with the energies to honor her cycle as well as our own. And let's bring in another element to this eclipse, and not to get too technical, but this eclipse is taking place at 25 degrees Libra. And this will allow me to say that the Lemurian Shamanic Astrology is based on the Shamanic Astrology that I've studied with Daniel Giamario and Kaylin Castell. And this is an archetypal-based astrology. It's not hierarchical, meaning it's not judgmental. There's not about a good or bad placement or good or bad signs. It's about the 12 houses or the 12 archetypes, the 12 signs, are all a valid experience of our human journey. So, for example, Libra, where this eclipse is happening, is about conscious and equal partnerships. It's about focusing on relationships and how can we have relationships that are in balance. And all of these are going to a new level in the Great Shift. So what is the nature of new relationships? We talk about gay marriages are becoming more and more accepted around our country. All kinds of different types of relationships. When you have, as we do, Mars, which will be right next to this eclipse, right next to the moon, we're talking about the divine masculine archetype. The energy of the divine masculine is what Mars represents in shamanic astrology. So we have the divine masculine working on its partnership with the divine feminine, because right next to Mars will be the star Spica, which Spica is the representation of the feminine light, of the goddess weave. So that's a star, Spica, that will also be there. So the whole energy around this eclipse is about relationships, partnerships, and we think about the things that are going on in our earth plane right now, political challenges, governments. We think about Crimea and what's going on in the relationships there. We can pray that the Mars journey in Libra is going to be about the diplomat, the partner that encourages consultation or working something out in a peaceful solution. So that's what I talk about, taking the energies to the next level for the Great Shift. It's not just about male-female partnerships. It's about conscious, equal partnerships between nations or between communities.
I'm seeing that in the other realms of my life, in terms of the agencies that are working with the domestic violence survivors, that they're seeing it not as, they're the perpetrators and we're the victims, so to speak, but it's looking at them as, okay, they're all human beings. So what can we do as an agency to create and nurture that feeling of I'm a human being first, not the label, not the behavior or pattern of behavior I was in. And the same thing with the Department of Education or school system. They're wanting to embrace different ways of doing things. So it's not this authoritative, I'm the teacher or I'm the administrator and you're going to do what I say.
Wow.
It's going to be engaging children in the process of learning, not I'm going to tell you what to learn. So how do you learn? And engaging the students. So that to me, that was my excitement about my experiences over the last 2 weeks, and you've just explained it through the planets.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because what you've just brought in is this, what a lot of astrologers, most astrologers have been talking about, this Uranus-Pluto square. Now, and building into this cardinal grand cross that will become exact on the 22nd of April. The Pluto-Uranus square is about a configuration that's gone on from 2012 all the way into next year. 7 times we're going to have this exact square, and a square is 90 degrees, and we won't get too technical. But the energy of Pluto is about transformation. It's about lighting up the shadow in order to heal and to release what no longer serves us. It's about shamanic transformation, basically. And that's in the sign of Capricorn, which is the sign that it has a lot to do with governments, structure, communities, politics, all of these things, even structures like an educational system. Mm-hmm. So what are the energies in the educational system that no longer serve us in the great shift energy that we're in? And right in a kind of a challenging configuration to that is the planet Uranus in Aries. And Uranus is all about looking at things in a new, spontaneous way, a different perspective on things. And these energies come out of nowhere when you're working with Uranus. And we have it in Aries, which is the archetype about the spiritual warrior, going forward for the sacred cause. So we have an energy that we've had 5 times. This will be the 5th time, coming up on the 21st of April. It will be exact again. And we see these energies like, well, it started in Egypt and Tunisia and all these different revolutionary things, and now we see Crimea and all these challenges to political structures. But we also see it in our own lives, what's being challenged in me that I'm holding on to that it doesn't serve me any longer. And is it time for our cartoon? Here's my cartoon. Well, you want to put it on the wall? Okay. This is something that describes what happened in my life, and just for the benefit of the audio listeners, the ones listening on the archives, that it shows a butterfly driving a car been pulled over by a traffic cop, and the traffic cop is looking at the butterfly's driver's license, which the picture shows a caterpillar, and the butterfly says that's an old photo. So for me, this is the classic Pluto cycle cartoon. And what happens when you're in a Pluto cycle like I was beginning in 2012, where there was a lot of things I was doing that just all of a sudden just weren't there anymore. I had businesses that closed down and organizations I was working with that just no longer there anymore. And I just thought, oh, that's great. What do I do now? So, what happens is a complete transformation. And what you see in the photo there in the cartoon is what you feel inside of you. And that's why I thought that was such a good cartoon, because you feel like you're in this, chrysalis, that you're supposed to call it, or a cocoon, and you think, oh God, what did I do wrong? I should have been nicer to that person over there, or I should have done this or that, but you really can't do anything. And it's about letting go of what no longer serves you, because once you get out of that cocoon, You fly like a butterfly, and you can do hundreds of other things you couldn't have done as a caterpillar. So here we are in this energy, in this Pluto-Uranus square, which will become even more amplified in a day after that when we go to the Cardinal Grand Cross.
We kind of talked about this yesterday during our healing sessions. The activity of looking in the mirror and the reflections based on what we're feeling or perceiving of ourselves. So what if there's someone who still sees themselves as the caterpillar, and how working with the energies of the Grand Cross, it seems like they would be experiencing a lot of challenges because they're still seeing that part of themselves that used to be, but on some level they're changing, and they're not able to recognize the changes unless somebody said, hey, guess what? This is what I noticed.
You look different.
You look different.
You got wings now.
So, there's several things that come to mind, and one is that, what's going on that we're still seeing that part of ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and the importance of the community where people in our own close-knit circle will say things like, hey, this is what I noticed about you. Wow, you look brighter today. What's going on? And have the opportunities for conversation about the changes.
I like that because that's the beauty of the goddess light is when you're in a weave of goddesses, you have that beautiful reflective energy of love that we can share with each other and see that reflection and help each other with our healing. The other thing I wanted to say was a famous quote by Kahu and Master Guide Kirill, and that is, fake it till you make it. Because these Pluto cycles, they don't happen in a couple of months, folks. I mean, I'm still in the Pluto cycle that I was in starting in 2012. I mean, it's still pretty close there, and they go on for 2.5 to 3 years. So it is a time when you have to surrender to what's going on for you and just be okay with not knowing exactly what's going on. And that sounds like, hey, you're an astrologer, you're supposed to tell me what's going on. Well, when you're in a Pluto cycle, sometimes you don't get to know what's going on. And it's I believe in divine timing, and I believe in a divine plan that I've laid out for myself in that blueprint. And part of that is shown with this Pluto cycle, or with this whatever configuration you've got going on in there, that is my intention for being here. And somehow I'll make it through it with signature cell healing. And that's why it makes it such a good combination between the astrology and the signature cell healing.
Okay. We'll take a break from our discussion. I'm just getting, I'm getting pulled into this because I'm catching on to your passion about
and
this.
We're going to do your chart next week.
So anyway, before we continue with our discussion, and we do have people who would like to ask you questions. So I'd like to take this opportunity. We've been talking about healing and healing and healing and the Grand Cross and all these planetary alignment. And what people are experiencing is, wow, it seems chaotic. Oh, this area of my life is not working. That area of my life is not working. And I'm asking, what if it's about balancing or understanding your 4 bodies, your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies? That if the energy of love and balance flows through each of these 4 bodies, which makes up your whole, then you'll experience more peace. Your innate wisdom will come from within and just manifest outwardly. The fears will dissipate. And like Patty Athena Sterling keeps saying, healing is like an onion. You peel one layer at a time. And how can we offer this healing possibility? And Karinna has mentioned it. We have lived it for years and years, and that's signature cell healing. Kahu Fred Sterling and Signature Cell Healing Foundation will be presenting 2 workshops in the next few months. In May, that's next month, on May 16, 17, and 18, he'll be in Las Vegas presenting Signature Cell Healing, the intensive level 1 and level 2 classes in a 3-day period. And in July, Gail Jan and I will be hosting Kahu here in Honolulu, Hawaii, and it will be at the Outrigger Hotel on July 25, 26, and 27. So check the signaturecellhealing.com website or KittaL.com website for more information. So if you're feeling the effects of these, changes in the planetary alignment, and you would like to learn a tool for centering, a tool for discovering your inner self more and more, join us at one of these 2 workshops, because it is a 4-body healing experience. We awaken the chromosomes of youth and vitality. And if you see someone who's received signature cell healing on a regular basis, I'm sure you say, hey, what happened? You look younger. So that's one of the benefits, but there's more benefits. So join us, go to the website, find out more information. So, okay.
Hey, that's us.
That's
regular
us.
Signature cell healing.
Let me also say that here in Honolulu, Hawaii, we are having a Body, Mind, Spirit Expo, and Signature Cell Healing Foundation will be at that expo. That's May 31 and June 1st, and we will be doing mini signature cell healings there and sharing more information. So hope to see you there. Okay? Aloha.
I'll be there.
Oh, yes.
Looking forward to it.
We had fun
Yes.
in the other expos. Okay. Part of me feels like, wow, that was a lot of information.
Well,
and the other part of me feels like, wow, I know more now.
Well, I want to emphasize, since we've downloaded all this information, a lot of stuff, to talk a little bit about how important prana breathing is, and paying attention to our emotional body and what we're feeling as we go through the energies. Meditation is really, really important. That's something that I make sure that I do twice a day. Also, automatic writing. I recommend that to my clients, and I just think that as we go through these really special, unique planetary energies this month, prana breathing, meditation, getting a healing session, tuning in to what are you feeling and what does it mean for you in terms of your relationships, in terms of letting go of what needs to be let go of. What is the nurturing light that you can give yourself, as well as your family, especially if you're a mom or you've got a family journey going on like I have had with my aging parents. What is the balance in that for me? How can I make sure that I'm taking care of myself as well as the other people in my family? And so all those things become very, very important this month.
You mentioned, besides signature cell healing, you mentioned all the 10 principles.
Yes.
That
yes.
What you do as a Lemurian shamanic astrologer and healer, it's about knowing who you are, what is the truth, and what is the truth of love in your life, and developing your trust in self and your guidance so that you may live your passion, in love and not fear. So then it's always about seeking clarity, and the communication is utmost important. And then you bring forth the completions to the different steps of your life. And so prayer, the 4 pillars of prayer, meditation, sleep state programming, and masterminding. You've lived it, I lived it, and you are assisting others who come to you by introducing all those principles.
And I
in
do,
your things.
thank you for noticing that, because
Yeah.
I do weave that into, of course, the signature cell healing sessions, but also it weaves into the Lemurian shamanic astrology, because those two, I call them counseling modalities. They're both healing modalities, and they weave so well together.
So let's bring up our people who want to ask you questions.
Yay!
Okay, let's bring
Yep.
Astrid. Aloha, Astrid.
Aloha.
What would
Aloha.
you like clarity on?
I wanted to come like in the first 10 minutes you both started to speak because, first of all, I want to say that I'm really grateful to be here because I can feel in this beautiful church of light the calmness, and I feel a connection with the calmness in you. Because when I'm outside right now, I said it to Karinna, I was like, wow, there's so many turbulences of energies going on right now outside. You know, you see people driving weird, and I just, you know, we're all sensitive, so I felt that turbulence outside. But I had a reading yesterday, and before you even said something about the planet Venus, I was sitting back there thinking I was going to talk to you about it. So I find, you know, the thought patterns, you know, the manifestation of things are so intense right now. And I was going to ask about Venus because it came through from my, I do readings, so I had that client yesterday. It was about Venus. It was about speaking the truth. And
Perfect.
I have a question about, because it's like back there, what? It just talked about Venus. So I wanted to know how Venus is connected to Lemuria, because I saw her live in her way back in Lemuria, but, you know, she couldn't connect to it. And then also I saw her, they were speaking of a star child. And I don't know if you could speak about that and how Venus is connected to with Lemuria, and maybe even instead of talking mentally, maybe guiding us to something. I don't know.
Oh,
if
that's
possible.
beautiful. Because if you follow, you know, my newsletters and what I've been writing about, I did write about Venus beginning her new cycle, and she's beginning the new cycle in the archetypal sign of Capricorn, and that is also where Pluto is right now. So Venus in Capricorn is the wise elder, the crone manifestation of the goddess light. It is the kupuna energy. It's the wise grandmother that we talk about, the council of grandmothers, and in ancient times they were the ones that actually approved or got rid of the chiefs, right? They were really, the council was in charge. And that was the structure, the manifestation of the goddess light in those days. And the overtone, or what we're talking about in this Venus cycle, is dedicated to the Capricorn goddess. And as she does her journey, we follow Venus through the gates. And when we talk about the gates, we're talking about the ancient story, the Sumerian legend of Inanna. And Inanna is just another name for Venus. And the story's on my website. As Venus goes through the 7 conjunctions with the moon in the morning sky, which is what we'll see on April 25th, it goes down through the chakra, and at each chakra she's releasing what needs to be released at those chakras. So, for example, speaking our truth at the 3rd gate, 5th chakra, this is about speaking our truth in love. And what you're talking about of people just, you know, acting out, or, you know, not knowing how to do that in balance. So the goddess light is about balance. It's about the love that has no opposites. It's the love that just is. And that is the goddess energy that comes from Lemuria. So what we can do now, and what's so beautiful about the Venus cycle, is we can see it. It's a planet very close to ours, so we can follow it. We can go outside and see her go through the 7 gates as a morning star, go behind the sun, and come up as an evening star as she re-empowers herself, coming back up through the chakra. And we can go out and actually feel that and experience it. Yeah, so...
That's powerful, because I started with her looking at her chakras, and her grandmother from the other side came through. And then you just saw grandmother.
Yes.
And then I saw also the butterfly. I'm sitting here, I feel like I'm still in that reading with her. It's such a reflection of what's going on in people and what they need to release. Now, some of the emotions that she spoke about were not really all in love, and I think it's okay sometimes, when you release, you have to say what you never said. She was scared of speaking the truth. And also the deer came up. I don't know how that's connected.
Well, just to get to what you were saying about the transformation, or you were talking about something that made me think of the transformation. This is why we're talking about Lemurian shamanic astrology, because it's about transformational energy. It's about getting in and experiencing what's going on. And as Venus goes down, she's going into the underworld by invitation of her sister. And when she gets there, after going through the gates, her sister kills her. And it's really a representation of her shadow self, right? So there is the transformation that happens. She's released everything. She dies, and then she is reborn into her new goddess light. And she comes out as an evening star and goes through the gates. So that's what I heard when you were talking now about this transformational cycle. Yeah. So you're in tune with that, definitely.
Yeah, and the sun actually came up. I saw the Aya Heights for her to go in the mid-sun. And then it's just beautiful. So could you speak about what a star child means for?
A star child?
Child.
Child.
Yeah, you have rainbow child, indigo.
Well,
do you know?
For me, that says, I feel like you are a star child. And I feel that myself. And we are drawn to the energy of the stars. There's not a morning or an evening that I don't go outside before I start my meditation and look at the stars and the planets to see to orient myself, to get the feeling of what's going on. That's the truth for me. The truth is in what I see above me and what I feel from those energies. If I open a newspaper, I'm getting a different type of truth. But if I go outside and I feel it, that's the truth for me. And also in the morning, looking at Venus, right? So I think the star children are the ones that know that their truth comes from the stars and the planets. And they have come from the stars. That's why they know. So when I go out and I see Sirius, the star Sirius, I know I have done lifetimes in that star system. Or I can see the Andromedan galaxy. I know I've done lifetimes there. So it's about me reconnecting with parts of who I am. And I'm sure that it's probably like that for you, too.
Yeah, well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I don't know if there is any time for you to do a little bit of just guiding us into the energy maybe of the
How
Venus.
about we go into the energy of the Grand Cross?
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That would be cool.
Okay.
That'd be really cool. So what is this Cardinal Grand Cross? And they call it a Cardinal Grand Cross because it's in the cardinal signs. And these are the signs, the archetypal signs. Because I want to say that this astrology that I'm talking to you about is not sun sign based. It's more oriented toward your moon and your rising sign. So it's an ancient form of astrology. This sun sign astrology is really relatively new. And we're not talking about the sun signs as much because a sun is in a sign for 30 days. And if we talk about the rising sign, it's only there for 2 to 3 hours. So we get a much better picture about who you are and what your journey is by looking at your rising sign. So in these archetypal energies of the 12 signs, we've talked about Pluto and Capricorn, and that representing the transformation of old structures into things that need to evolve now. The energy of Uranus and Aries, this spontaneous, unpredictable forward motion of events. Now we join with that the energy of Mars in Libra, which we talked about with the with the eclipse. And this is about new forms of conscious and equal partnerships. Old partnerships, old ways of doing things, working with people that just is not going to hold up anymore. We need to be in conscious relationship with each other. And then the final element of the Grand Cross is Jupiter in Cancer. And this is about new forms of nurturing the self and family. All of these signs, Cancer, Aries, Capricorn, and Libra, these are called the cardinal signs. These are the energies that are bringing the energy forward. The signs that take initiative on things, and that's why they're called the cardinal signs, or the householder signs. They're moving things forward. So here we are in this cardinal Grand Cross, and we are right in the middle of it. And these energies influence us in different ways based on what our blueprint is. Where does this impact us on our blueprints? And I put that in my newsletter, that each person is going to have a different feeling of this. But we can stand within it, and with the tools that we have, such as healing, signature cell healing, meditation, prana breathing, automatic writing, all the 10 principles, knowing the self and your journey, what are the opportunities that this creates for me to evolve into my next level? How is this about me and why I'm here for the great shift in consciousness? So, could we do a little
Sure.
visualization? Do we have time?
Yes, we can, yeah.
Can we get a little music?
We can do
Gail
it for
Jan's
about
multitasking.
3 minutes.
Yeah?
she'll
How
do
about
it.
just a few minutes to
Yeah.
kind of feel the energies of the planets, and know that this is a period of time coming up later this month, yet we're already in different elements of this Grand Cross. And we feel the as above, so below mysteries within us. They are reflective of what's above us and what's within us. So if you just close your eyes for a moment and take one of those deep prana breaths. And just see yourself, and some of you have been there, standing at the top of this beautiful mountain in Lemuria called Haleakala. At the very top, there's a space where it's open to 360 degrees all around you. And as you breathe, you can just feel the nurturing energies of Lemuria, for this is the sacred mountain, one of the sacred mountains of Lemuria, where the healing temples were located. A special energy that was held above the waters, as Master Guide Kirill has shared with us, by the guardians. Their energies held this particular space above the waters when they rose around Lemuria. So in this energy, we feel a very special, nurturing light. And then above you, I'd like you to see this golden cross form. And it's a goddess cross, which is equal length of all sides. And just feel the energies of these archetypes. First, we feel the nurturing energy of Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter, the amplifier, the vision quest. In Cancer, the nurturing love of the Mother Goddess. Next to it, Mars in Libra, the divine masculine, bringing forth an experience of conscious and equal partnerships, diplomacy, a new level of love in our relationships. Next on the cross, Pluto in Capricorn, And we feel this deep, transformative energy of the structures, the governments, politics, anything that has form in our lives is feeling this deep, transformative energy. And completing this, the fiery energy of Aries and Uranus, the revolutionary, unpredictable, unique events. And within the Grand Cross we stand and feel the perfection of the journey, knowing that we are always where we need to be, held in the Creator's light, in a trinity with the Christ light and the Goddess weave of love. And as a special offering of love, we ask the Goddess Sisters of the Elements of Pele, Isis, Mariah, and Gaia to stand the four corners of this Grand Cross with us, so we might feel the nurturing Goddess light holding us for our journey in the Great Shift. For we know this is why we are here, to experience, incarnate a great shift on this planet. So I ask you just to breathe and to feel that nurturing energy, the transformation and the love for self and for Mother Earth. Now feel the energy beneath your feet, the lava, energy of Lemuria and Haleakala as you come back, anchoring yourself into Mother Earth and joining us again here on the Great Shift. Mahalo.
Thank you. That was interesting.
That was cool.
Because I could listen to the replays.
Oh, please.
And do that
shares.
again.
Please
Yeah.
email your shares.
Oh, call us.
That was so cool.
Oh, this has been, like I said, this hour is going to go by quickly, and it did indeed. And so fortunately, we have you coming at least one more time, talking about Lemurian shamanic astrology. And I'm glad that you'll be back here for part 2 on April 23rd this month. And you'll be offering mini readings.
Yes.
Okay. Now, the way this is going to work, if you would like a mini reading, which is be 5 minutes mini reading, email KarinnaNielsen at
KarinnaNielsen.com.
Okay. Email Karinna at KarinnaNielsen.com prior to the program. That's before April 21st with your birth information, birth date, time, and place of birth. And she will prepare a mini reading based on what you provide. So I would say this would be a grand opportunity for you to get a taste of how Lemurian shamanic astrology can be of service to you, and how Karinna can be of service to you. So you can also go to her website at www.KarinnaNielsen.com, and she, believe me, she has much information.
I put a print feature on there now so you can print it out.
get more information about what she discussed today, and she also has services that she provides, and that's on her website. She does Lemurian Shamanic Astrology readings, Lemurian Shamanic healing sessions, Lemurian Shamanic prophecy card reading, personalized training, sacred site tours, and Lemurian Goddess gatherings. So she has gathered and learned much over the years, and now she's ready to share her wisdom that she has gained with you. And I say it again, I have gained from her wisdom. So I hope you take advantage and go to her website. So thank you, Karinna, for being here.
My pleasure.
A dream come true. This is a vision that has come true.
Yes.
That we will be doing this together, and we'll be doing more in the future.
Wonderful.
We'll talk about future topics after the next one. So thank you. Any parting words before I do our completion announcements?
I'm just really grateful to you, Susanna, and to Gail Jan for creating this space. And it's been my honor to be here. And I look forward to hearing from you, our listeners.
Okay, thank you for being here at the Great Shift, our shift in consciousness. And please visit us on HonoluluChurchOfLight.org and listen to the replays of this program, and join us online or here in the studio sanctuary for our Sunday healing service. 8:45 meditation, either facilitated by myself or Morgan Moore, Astrid's husband, or some surprise meditators. So join us then. And also more healing happens on Thursday evening healing circle. So much is happening here in Honolulu, Hawaii, Honolulu Church of Light. So stay tuned on our website. So thank you for sharing your abundance of love and your financial abundance, because your abundance shared with us allows us to present this webcast to you free. So aloha for joining us, and we pray that you create peaceful, loving experience